Once upon a time, the Jester Prince decided to talk about Rent a Girlfriend.
Hello, friends! I am the Jester Prince, and today I decided to talk about Rent a Girlfriend. In these dark times of 2020, there are a few things to find joy in. We have Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B out here proving that even though we're currently living in a Dustin Hoffman movie, and even though you may have just gotten shot, you can still release a fire single that will make old white conservative women say, "Ha ha ha, I remember when I had WAP. Nowadays it's like a Velcro Chinese finger trap." Another thing that can work towards brightening up our days are the videos of black people hearing Phil Collins for the first time. And let me tell you, there are few things greater in life than seeing black people react to Phil Collins for the first time. But I'm not here to talk about WAPs and Phil Collins, even if you can't have one without the other, am I right, ladies? Because I would argue that one of the other few things that make this horrible year a little less horrible is the new romantic comedy anime, Rent a Girlfriend. You probably had an idea that this is where the video was headed, with it being the title and all. Congratulations, you figured it out. You're a smart person. Now, I will admit, when I first heard about Rent a Girlfriend, it sounded like the type of show that we'll all end up forgetting in 2 seconds. Well, everyone but my roommate Dante, that is. I mean, it's Dante. He was sent to prison after denying the housing bubble of 2008. That's not why he went to jail, but it's something I'd like to bring up regardless. But enough talk about our future president. To me, shows like Rent a Girlfriend are a dime a dozen. The type of show with a bland protagonist and a collection of generic anime girls who will soon be recycled by next season's collection of generic anime girls. Am I right, Monster Girl Doctor and Misfit Demon King? Or as I like to call them, Monster Musume and High School DD, but not as wrong, just worse. Rent a Girlfriend is surprisingly not like those at all. It has a lot of depth that will hopefully keep people coming back for years to come. This anime is something that, for the most part, feels relatable. The type of show that makes you want to reach inside your TV and ask the cast if they want to play a round of blitzball with you. Shut the fuck up, Dante! Blitzball is real to me! What the hell are you even saying? Of course Jesse Columbo wasn't lying! Why are you even bringing this up? Even with its odd initial premise, I did end up really having a soft spot for the series, and honestly, I fell in love with all of its characters. Well, except for Mommy. F*** her. So, if anyone is watching this video who's on the fence about this show, allow me to do my best to explain why I think it's worth your time. Our main protagonist, Kazuya Kinoshita, is a typical 20-year-old college student. Yes, you heard that right. The characters in this anime are college students. Not high school students, but college students. Thank the Lord, I can finally watch this show without feeling like anime Twitter will judge me. They're still going to judge me. At the start of our series, our hero is dumped by his first actual girlfriend and thus succumbs to masturbating while depressed, which we all, of course, know is the third worst type of masturbation behind hungry and angry. When he's finished making his ancestors cry, Kazuya sees an ad for a girlfriend rental service and in his desperation resorts to something he doesn't fully understand. Renting a girlfriend. This very legitimate type of Japanese business is basically Hollywood video for lonely guys. And I do say guys because I don't think a single woman would be caught dead wasting her money on something this stupid. I mean, maybe a married woman who waits until 8 o'clock at night for her husband to come home, who spends the time waiting for him, day drinking, and dreaming of a more fulfilling life. And when her husband does eventually come home, he doesn't even talk to her and just stares at the TV for several hours before going to bed, not giving her so much as a grunt of acknowledgement. And while she's lying next to him at night, she can't help but think about how she married young and that spark the two once had is sadly gone out years ago. That she'll never be able to recapture her youth and can't help but feel that she wasted her 20s and 30s on a loveless marriage. So, one day, while she's scrolling the web, she sees an ad of a nice young man she could spend an hour with for only about $20. And, without thinking, she pays, because she just wants to feel wanted for once. Even if it is only an hour, even if it is fake, she just wants someone to look at her with a smile again. Someone to make her feel wanted, to feel like she has value. So yeah, a married woman like her might do it, but I can't see a single woman doing it. In Rent a Girlfriend, men can find a lady friend that they like, and for a small nominal fee, can be able to have a nice, relaxing, yet unadulterated date with a girl of their choosing. That is right. Sadly, even in anime, there is absolutely no sex in the champagne room. And to my surprise, the girl he ends up choosing is not just another throwaway waifu. But instead, the single greatest anime girl to ever be put on screen since Utagi Shinjokahara first stuck a box cutter in that one emo kid's mouth. Y'all, I cannot begin to describe how incredible Chizuru Mizuhara is. She is the type of woman who would put all the Bene Gesserits to shame. She would stick her hand in that box and not even flinch. She would give birth to 13 Kwisatz Haderachs and counting. She would be the greatest Mentat to ever grace the stars. The spice will flow. Anyways, Kazuya goes on a date with her, and they introduce themselves to each other. They have their little meet cute. Kazuya's all like, I've got myself just a little bit of love that I want to spend on you. And Chizuya's all like, that's great and all, but do you have some money you want to spend too? Fork it up, pal. Mama needs to go see her ponies. They don't give a rat's ass about love. So after they dot the T's and cross the I's, the pretend couple go to the local aquarium to look at the fishes. Kazuya probably tells her this reminds him of this video game he just played. That in it, there's an aquarium level where you end up killing a dog, a pregnant woman, and her unborn child's father. You know, he just seems like the type of dude who would think that's a good topic of conversation on a first date. But, you know, they have a good time, or whatever. But the best part is that he pays to take her on a second date, and they go to the exact same aquarium! Like, dude, find another place to go. Did you have a coupon or something? I can only imagine that the conversation during the second trip was like, so, you actually ended up replaying the entire game from the antagonist's point of view. This time, the dog is now your pet, and the dead couple are your friends. But since Chizuru has the body of a goddess, Kazuya is the idiot who fell in love with a stripper. And because he caught feelings, our protagonist makes an utter ass of himself in public, causing a big whole scene where he chastises Chizuru for, well, essentially doing her job of being a pretend girlfriend. Do not act like you didn't know what this was, Kazuya. You knew the game, and do not pretend like you didn't love it. Now, to be honest, when I first watched this episode, I had to keep on stopping it repeatedly. This annoying crybaby who was totally hating on the players when he did not have any such game. But something happened soon after that really made me realize that this show was special and was a lot more than the trashy harem I expected it to be. Because directly after being publicly chastised by Kazuya, Chizuru did what every well-respected young lady would do. She took him to the side and verbally beat the Timothy Chalamet out of him. Call me by your name one more time or so help me! She told him that he was being childish and that he had no right to speak to her in such a manner. And this was the part when I realized what this show was trying to accomplish, because I stopped seeing the main protagonist as some generic anime boy and started seeing someone else. I saw myself. Yes, after seeing this woman tear him to shreds for several minutes, I remembered back a few years ago where I too was once a dumb 20-year-old college student who was obsessed with the idea of having a romantic relationship. Someone who confused love with lust. A young man who was way too far up his own selfishness to care about how his actions hurt the very same people that he claimed to care about. I realized that the show was putting a spotlight on my own insecurities, and instead of being the generic harem series I pegged it to be, it was trying to teach me something. That if you really want to date someone, you need to first work on yourself and be someone worth dating. And the show does that by having one of, if not the best girl in the season. I mean, it is kind of by default right now anyways, because Rem is in a coma and can't do anything anyways. Do not at me, Amelia fanboys. Do not at me. I will hunt you down. What makes Chizuru a great candidate for Best Girl is that she constantly challenges the main character to do better, to be better. Kazuya must constantly confront someone who is frankly way more put together than he is, way more caring than he is, and just a way more well-rounded and mature human being than he is. But instead of feeling jealous and angry at her because of all this, he recognizes his wrongdoings and he does his best to grow up. And she genuinely comes across as someone who wants him to succeed in his path of self-betterment. Also, this happened.
この部屋で寝ればいいじゃない。
That's it, everyone! Anime is solved now! No need to make anything else anymore! It's peaked! It's peaked! This does not mean that she only exists as a device to forward the male protagonist's character development. She has her own goals, her own life, and her own desires outside of whatever Kazuya is up to. She's not perfect. She's flawed in that she cares too much about what people think of her. This is a trait that both the main characters have, and the similarity binds the two and makes it believable that one day these characters might develop legitimate feelings for one another. And then there is a plethora of supporting characters who are all interesting people, who are also rooting for our protagonist to grow up and succeed in their relationship. Like Mommy. And allow me to reiterate, fuck her. Listen, I joke around about this character, obviously. She's just the typical antagonistic force put in romantic comedies to create drama for the main characters to overcome. There's not a lot to say about her. However, she did give us one of, if not the truest to life sequences in anime history.
たく、一泊二日も我慢できねえのか、お前は。
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And then introduced a third character by the name of Ruka, who so far only has 2 character traits. Number 1 is that she did not come to play with these hoes. Number 2 is that she came to slay, bitch. In all seriousness, Rent-A-Girlfriend is a total gem this season, and I for one cannot wait to see more of these characters. Maybe they'll grow not just in love with each other, but as people as well. Harems that aim to be more than just the disposable power fantasy are a rare occurrence. Don't get me wrong, I love me some male power fantasy harems, but this series aims to be way more than just that. I can't help but appreciate it. Please give it a watch. I think you might really enjoy it. Thank you everyone for watching. If you like this, please give it a like and do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friends. I had a lot of fun working on this and I really want to do this again. Probably doing a ReZero episode in the next couple of weeks or so. So, check that out. And a big thank you to prippyteeva, who's super awesome, super incredible, and didn't add this to the script.